Advanced English Course, Book 1, Lesson 1, Verbs. To drink, I drink. To speak, I speak. Words to drink. I drink tea. I drink milk. I drink coffee. I drink juice. I drink wine. I drink water. I drink beer. I drink soda. Words to speak. I speak with Janie. I speak English. I speak German. I speak French. I speak Spanish. I speak Italian. I speak Portuguese. I speak Chinese. Grammar. With. I speak with Janie. And I drink juice and wine. Advanced English Course, Book 1, Lesson 2, Verbs. To eat, I eat. To like, I like. Words to eat. I eat meat. I eat bread. I eat cheese. I eat ham. I eat apple. I eat pear. I eat cake. I eat banana. Words to like. I like music. I like soccer. I like Jane. I like English. I like dog. I like cat. I like chocolate. I like ice cream. I like flower. I like money. Grammar. With, and, a, and, only. I like to eat meat. I like to drink coffee. I like to speak English. I like to speak with Jane. I like to drink coffee with milk and water. Advanced English Course, Book 1,
Lesson 3, Verbs. To play, I play. To work, I work. Words to work. I work with my father. I work with my mother. I work with my sister. I work with my brother. I work at home. I work at school. I work alone. I work with my boss. Words to play. I play soccer. I play guitar. I play piano. I play cards. I play baseball. I play with the child. I play with the kite. I play with my dog. Grammar. With, and, an, only. My, at, alone, the. I play cards alone. I play soccer and baseball. I play only soccer. I play guitar. I like to play cards and baseball. I work with my boss and I play soccer with my father. I work at school with my sister. I play only piano. I play with the child at school. I like to eat meat with my father. I like to play the guitar at home.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 4, Verbs. To study, I study. To stay, I stay. Words. To study. I study English. I study at home. I study at school. I study at the hotel. I study history. I study physics. I study geography. Words. To stay. I stay home. I stay at the club. I stay at church. I stay at the beach. I stay downtown. I stay at school. I stay at the party. I stay at the movies. Grammar. With and with the an with the only my at alone at the I stay at home with my father. I study English at the hotel alone. I only study at home. I like to study English at the hotel. I eat an apple downtown.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 5, Verbs. To go, I go. To come, I come. Words. To go. I go to church. I go home. I go to the club. I go to the movies. I go to the beach. I go downtown. I go to the party. I go to the store. Words. To come. I come home. I come to the club. I come to the party. I come to school. I come to the hotel. I come to the store. I come to the class. I come to the meeting. Grammar. With, at, and, alone, at the, an, with my, only, with the, to the, to. I go home. I go to church. I go to the beach. I come home. I come to church. I come to the meeting. I go home with my father. I go to church alone. I come home with the child. I come to the meeting with my boss.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 6, Verbs. To have, I have. To sleep, I sleep. Words. To have. I have a pencil. I have a pen. I have an eraser. I have an agenda. I have a book. I have a car. I have a bike. I have a job. Words: to sleep. I sleep on the bed. I sleep on the sofa. I sleep in my bedroom. I sleep with you. I sleep alone. I sleep in the car. I sleep in the hotel. I sleep at home. Grammar: in the, on the, but, there, here. I sleep on the bed. I sleep in the hotel. I sleep with you on the bed. I have a book. I have an apple. I have a job in the hotel. I work in the hotel and I sleep at home. I have a car to go home. I like to sleep on the sofa. I have to go to the beach with my brother.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 7. Verbs. To write, I write. To read, I read. Words. To write, I write a letter. I write a book. I write a message. I write a poem. I write to you. I write to my father. I write to my boss. I write to my brother. Words: to read. I read a newspaper. I read a magazine. I read a letter. I read a book. I read to you. I read to my mother. I read to my boss. I read to my sister. Grammar: you, your, this, that. Do you read? Do you write? Family. Parents. I write a letter to you. I write to my sister. I read the newspaper to my boss. I read a magazine to my mother. I read this letter to your family. I read that book to your parents.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 8. Verbs. To know, I know. To understand, I understand. Words. To know. I know how to speak English. I know how to swim. I know how to dance. I know how to read. I know how to write. I know Jane. I know you. I know New York. Words. To understand. I understand English. I understand my parents. I understand my relatives. I understand you. I understand your problem. I understand the conversation. I understand the question. I understand the teacher. Grammar. You, your, this, that. Do you read? Do you write? Family. Parents. relatives, how to, parents. I know how to speak German. I like to understand my relatives. I understand that teacher. I know how to dance. Do you understand English? Do you know how to read this letter? Do you like to read a poem? Do you know how to play cards?
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 9. Verbs. To want. I want. To help. I help. Words. To want. I want to play cards. I want to study English. I want to work. I want a cup of coffee. I want a glass of water. I want candy. I want popcorn. I want a kiss. Words. To help. I help you. I help my friend. I help my mother. I help my father. I help my brother. I help my neighbor. I help my daughter. I help my son. Grammar. You, your, this, that. Do you, parents, family, relatives. I want to play this game. I want to study with you. I want to work downtown. I want to speak English. I help my family. I want to help you.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 10. Verbs. To open. I open. To close. I close. Words. To open. I open the door. I open the book. I open the window. I open the car door. I open the box. I open the house. I open the bedroom window. I open my bathroom door. Words. To close. I close the door. I close the book. I close the window. I close the car door. I close the box. I close the house. I close my bedroom window. I close my bathroom door. Grammar. You, your, I, do you, the, my, relatives, parents. I want to open the door. I want to close the window. I help my father to close the house. I open the door. I close the window.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 11. Verbs. To need. I need. To prefer. I prefer. Words. To need. I need you. I need a car. I need a cigarette. I need your love. I need a job. I need food. I need medicine. I need my glasses. Words: to prefer. I prefer to eat cheese. I prefer to play tennis. I prefer to dance. I prefer to study English. I prefer to drink wine. I prefer to go to the movies. I prefer to speak French. I prefer to work here. Grammar: at the, to the, at, to, in the, on the. I don't. I do not. I need to work here. I need to study English. I prefer to eat popcorn. I prefer to speak English. I don't like to drink beer. I don't go to the beach.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 12. Verbs. To take, I take. To bring, I bring. Words: to take. I take my children to school. I take my grandmother to church. I take my grandfather to the movies. I take my uncle downtown. I take my aunt to the store. I take my cousin to the club. I take my nephew to the beach. I take my niece to the party. Words: to bring. I bring a suitcase to the hotel. I bring my briefcase. I bring the backpack. I bring the letter. I bring the CD home. I bring the television. I bring the radio. I bring a slice of cake to you. Grammar: when, what, how. By car, by bus, by train, on foot. I take the children to school today. When do you take the children to school? I take the children to school today. What do you eat for lunch? I eat meat with cheese for lunch. How do you go to the beach? I go to the beach by car. What do you like to eat for breakfast? I like to eat bread for breakfast. When do you go home? I go home tomorrow. How do you go to school? I go to school on foot.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 13. Words: to live. I live in a house. I live in Fortaleza. I live in the hotel. I live in an apartment. I live on a farm. I live in this city. I live on that street. I live downtown. Words: to leave. I leave my backpack in the hotel. I leave home in the morning. I leave my bike at home every day. I leave my dog at home. I leave my book in the class. I leave a message for you. I leave the magazine on the bed. I leave my umbrella at home. Grammar. In the, in this, on the farm, in this city. Where do you live? I live here. I live in the city. I live in this city. I leave my daughter at school. I leave my backpack there.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 14. Verbs. To buy, I buy. To sell, I sell. Words. To buy, I buy a plane. I buy a table. I buy a new car. I buy a pen for you. I buy a pencil for my mother. I buy a book for my father. I buy wine for my wife. Words. To sell, I sell fish. I sell pineapple. I sell the clock. I sell a bike to my sister. I sell a car to my husband. I sell snacks. I sell an old car. I sell to you. Grammar. To buy for. To sell to. A new car. An old car. Or. I buy a car for you. I buy a car for my wife. I sell an old car to my husband. I sell a new car to you. I buy a new car for my son.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 15. Verbs. To do, I do. To make, I make. Words. To do, I do my homework. I do a course. I do an exam. I do a favor. I do exercises. I do the housework. I do a test. I do the dishes. Words. To make, I make a mistake. I make a phone call. I make the bed. I make plans. I make dinner. I make a cake. I make a pie. I make lunch. Grammar. About, me, near, far from. I have about 5 dogs. I read about me. Do you like to live with me? I live near here. I live far from my father.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 16. Verbs. To finish, I finish. To start, I start. Words. To finish, I finish my homework. I finish my job. I finish drinking milk. I finish drinking my beer. I finish the composition. I finish working now. I finish working here. Words to start. I start the concert. I start the race. I start the championship. I start the soccer game. I start studying. I start to study geography. I started playing soccer. Grammar. From. He, she, it. I come from Los Angeles. I come from the hotel. He plays soccer. She goes home. It eats meat. He studies English. She sells fish. It lives on the farm. He comes from Miami. She leaves the backpack in the hotel. It needs food. She brings the boyfriend home.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 17. Verbs. To cook, I cook. To wash, I wash. Words to cook. He cooks food. She cooks my lunch. He cooks the dinner. I cook meat and rice. I cook rice and beans. I cook for my mother. I cook for my father. I cook for you. Words to wash. He washes the dishes. She washes the plate. I wash my face. I wash the floor. I wash my house. I wash your office. I wash the car for you. I wash the bike for my niece. Grammar. Who? What? Behind. In front of. Who washes the plates? Who plays the piano? What car do you have? He plays the guitar behind the door. She lives in front of the school.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 18. To look, I look. To see, I see. Words to look. I look at you. I look at my father. I look at the moon. I look at the pictures. I look at the children. I look at the garden. You look at me. I look at the stars. Words to see. I see you. I see my father. I see the moon. I see the train. I see the accident. I see Jane. I see the stars. You see me. Grammar. Who? Does. To look at. To see you. Why? Because. I see. Who sees the moon at night? Why do you eat meat? Because I like meat. I look at you. I see you. Who looks at you? He looks at you.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 19. Verbs. To forget. I forget. To remember. I remember. Words. To forget. I forget to study. I forget to play the piano. I forget to speak with you. I forget my pencil on the table. I forget your birthday. I forget the tickets. I forget the party. You forget me. Words. To remember. I remember you. I remember my past. I remember the story. I remember the film. I remember my city. I remember my country. I remember my lover. I remember to write to you. Grammar. Last. Next. Year. Year. Week. After. Before. To have breakfast. To have lunch. To have dinner. I play soccer before breakfast. I study English after lunch. I remember my last birthday. I go to the beach next week. I go to Miami next week. I have breakfast every day. I have breakfast every day. I have lunch today. I have dinner at night.
Advanced English Course, Book 1.
Lesson 20. Verbs. To visit. I visit. To wait. I wait. Words. To visit. I visit you. I visit your parents. I visit California. I visit your relatives. I visit my children. I visit my college. I visit your university. I visit the church. Words. To wait. I wait for you. I wait for my father. I wait for my sister. I wait for my brother. I wait for the plane. I wait for the bus. I wait for my niece. I wait for my dog. It's 1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock. I visit my father at 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. I have to go now. I wait for my sister until 2 o'clock. I wait for my parents until 3 o'clock. I have lunch at 4 o'clock. I study English at 1 o'clock.
Now, you finished Book 1. Well done. Good luck. Congratulations.